Touring Dance Initiative is a strategic touring funded project from the Arts Council. It's been designed really to fill the gap that there is with dance and rural touring. At the moment, only 2% of all performing arts that happens on the rural touring sector is dance.
The Rural Touring Dance Project brought together a partnership of organisations, the Place, National Rural Touring Forum, China Plate and Take Art, and we're working together to try and do just that, to make sure that more of these great dance performances get the chance to tour to all communities around the UK, not just the urban ones. Shows grow through touring, they come alive by being out on the road. I'm really interested in what happens both to shows I know by touring around a different kind of circuit of venues, how they might change, but also the effect it will have on those artists and makers and companies with the shows they make afterwards, the next thing, so that experience for a different kind of touring.
Traditionally, dance is quite, the floor is very important, the amount of space is normally very important. You know, you rehearse in space, and suddenly if you've shrunk that space, you can't just change the choreography over half an hour.
Once the dance companies have been chosen for the rural touring menu, we hold a 3-day residential. We call it an Introduction to Rural Touring Lab. They get to ask loads of questions about how rural touring works. We also include specific sessions on staging a show, the technical aspects, because there are limitations on village hall spaces. And we also have a specific session around marketing and publicity, because there are particular needs that exist around rural touring. Companies are able to ask questions throughout the process, and by the end of the lab, we hope they'll have a thorough grounding in rural touring.
If I'm being totally honest, how am I feeling going into rural touring? Excited, and oh my gosh, it's going to be a challenge. Every village hall that we visited, I felt like I've been stepping into someone's living room, and that's always a treat and a real honour to have someone say, I don't know you yet, but come into my space and let's get to know each other.
I think there's two sides. One is that there's not enough product out there which is made for rural touring situations. Dancers tend to need decent floors, decent beds, warm places, long get-ins, and because they don't ever get to see it, rural touring promoters don't think they want it. I think promoters would take it if they knew what it was and could work out how to sell it. Which is about experience and exposure, really, which is what we're doing.
So we've got a Beeford Arts event here tonight at the Isaac Hall at Braunton Academy in Braunton, and we're delighted that we've got Leela Dance's The Deluge, which is an immersive physical theatre performance. We're delighted that we can work with local community members who are actually taking part in the performance as well, alongside professionals.
We learn 2 sections that we don't know every day, the people that we don't know, so we meet them now. We learn the sort of 5 minutes, 6 minutes that they're in for, and then we do a dress run, and then we do the show, and then we'll pack it all down again. And we'll move on tomorrow.
What you see in The Deluge is people from all walks of life, some people who've never even danced before, in a professional production, and it looks fantastic. It's just so exciting to watch so many people moving.
The rural community is like a family, so there is a lot of care and kindness already inbuilt. Last night we had the lady that we were staying with at a bed and breakfast in Cornwall said to us, I can't believe that you were sitting around my breakfast table this morning and then you were here doing this thing, and it was amazing that I had you in my front room. And I was like, we're really glad you came to see it, so it's kind of a two-way thing.
For us, it keeps the work alive. Like, so every space we go to, we're working with new people, we're working in a new space. It kind of all happens really quickly as well, so we don't kind of have time to get used to it. It's like, it's all quick and on our toes, and you're thinking all the time about the next bit because you haven't seen that space before, you haven't seen that person before.
I really love it. It's amazing. It's really exciting to see people in the audience. And often, I think, because they have met us walking around the street, they know our face already. So when you're dancing in front of them, you feel like you can really have a connection with someone, which is really exciting.
Earlier this week, some of our dancers came down to work with the students here to help kind of co-create a piece, and that's going to be presented tonight, which is pretty exciting. And then another group of dancers has come down today to perform some pieces that are in a repertory that have been specifically reworked for this space. I think one of the difficulties with rural touring is that you never know what you're going to get. So in some of these theaters in larger cities, you know, you kind of know what to expect. But I think that's also one of the beautiful things about doing rural touring. I mean, like, I don't know if you can see, but it's beautiful here. It's absolutely gorgeous. And it's little things like that that really surprise and invigorate. And it's one of the great things about doing these kinds of tours. I mean, it's beautiful in the countryside. It's like, and the communities out here are absolutely fantastic. Like, you can really tell there's a heart and a kindness and a warmth.
The rural tour is special because usually on normal tour, we have a technical team who does the get-in, set the stage, and then we arrive, we warm up, and then we do the show, and that's it. The rural tour, we travel in a van, we unload the van, we set all that up, we lay the floor, set the lights, everything. Then we warm up, we do the show, and then we're gonna have to undo everything, put it in the van and drive back.
There we are up. Hello, Di. Are you coming tonight? Right, well, here we are. Night out scheme, dance, first time, I think, ever at the Neath Dyfi, as far as I know, and they're from Norway. Well, how different can you be? And they're coming to our little hall, the Neath Dyfi, in Aberdyfi. I'm pretty optimistic it's going to be a great evening because we have sold 60 tickets in advance, which is jolly good. It's a good indicator, and I think we'll get another 20 or 30 on the door. Some, I think, are coming in with an understanding of contemporary dance. Others are coming in because it's here and different, and we'll come along to see what it's like.
A dog watching us, and lots of kids and lots of elderly, so it's a great audience. Always when we come to the venues, there's a lot of volunteers there as well.
Somebody making lunch, somebody setting the chairs, somebody helping us with the mirror that broke on the way over.
We know we're not a cultural desert. We can go to see things if we travel, but to have it locally means a much wider variety of people come, I think. And it's really great that the kids can come because it's obviously been really inspiring for them, hasn't it? The more of this, the better, actually.
Just out of interest, there are 200 houses in the village. I think there's 450 people live here. Obviously an ageing population, as with all villages, but that's the way things are. We've got the telling of the poem by Milton called Paradise Lost, and it's being done to music, to movement and comedy, so there's a bit of everything for everybody in it.
It's kind of storytelling. It's really about a relationship with the audience and going into these very intimate spaces with people sitting right there.
The people like the rural touring companies and the Arts Reach and Take Art in Somerset, the Arts Council, the County Council, all put money to help us and other village halls put on shows that villagers would never normally see. You know, this show, for instance, has been in the West End, it's been to Edinburgh, and now we're having it in little old Drimpton.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for sacrificing your Saturday evening to come and see a one-man contemporary dance version of Paradise Lost. It's a brave decision.
contemporary dance is often a hard sell, and I can imagine that thing about, you know, people just concerned that it's not going to sell or that it's just inaccessible and a slightly kind of elitist art form, all of those things which can be true of it.
I wasn't actually going to come tonight because I don't normally come to dance shows. However, I have to say that having decided to come, well, I was overwhelmed and I was so surprised by the performance, and particularly it opened up my ideas about what dance could be.
This is actually the first of any dance that we've actually had here. We've had all sorts of different things, but this is the first time we've actually had dance.
Today we are in Shrewsbury. I've never been here in my life, and I don't think I would have come. They're not the obvious places perhaps to go. Unfortunately, dance, like many things in arts and culture, are centralized, so you tend to perform in bigger cities, theatres that are established. So I think the Rural Touring Dance Initiatives allows us to reach people that we normally don't reach.
I quite liked that, how they were just kind of dancing without any inhibitions, and it didn't seem so, because sometimes when you think of dance you can think of things that it's quite structured, you know, okay, you have the routine, you follow the routine, you do the steps in order. I quite liked how it was kind of different, and it was just like, you could see how much fun they were having, and I really liked that.
This is a whole programme, so you can offer that out to people, and there's stuff at different levels, there's support there in lots of different ways, you know, promoter bursaries, marketing support, the help, the guidance.
The project does come from an absolute enthusiasm for dance. It's been very much to do with a real desire to see this extremely exciting, potent art form better represented in our sector.
Unbelievably lucky to find something as talented as that in a village as small as this, and I think we're very blessed to be able to experience something like that.
Yeah, I think as much as it's a challenge, perhaps it's also the beauty of it, having to adapt to unusual spaces.